Welcome to this session on methods of knowing. Today, we are going to discuss the ways in which we acquire knowledge. We all know certain things about this world, or at least we believe that we do. We all believe in something or the other. Some may believe in being honest. Some could not believe that the earth was not flat when it was popularly stated for the first time. Some believe in God. There are also the so-called non-believers. Even they believe in atheism. Some may think you are a good person. A few others may think you are not good. Essentially, what we are going to learn in today's chapter is how do we come to know something? How are these beliefs or knowledge generated in our minds? When do we accept something as a fact, even though most of them may not be true? So there is a set of non-scientific ways of knowing. They are tenacity, intuition, authority, rational or logical reasoning, and empirical way of knowing. Let us first look at tenacity. A user of the method of tenacity follows the logic that something is true because it has always been true. For example, a store owner who says, "I don't advertise because my parents did not believe in advertising." The idea is that nothing changes. What was good, bad, or successful before will continue to be so in the future as well. Next, let us look at intuition. You believe in something because it feels true, or it is what people call your gut feeling. When we use our intuition, we are relying on our guts, our emotions, or our instincts to guide us, rather than examining facts or using rational thought. An example here. Sometimes you may have the feeling that your close friend or family members is not feeling good. You do not understand how you have come to know that, but you have a pretty good gut feeling that the person is upset because of something. So you are not consciously aware of the process or method by which you have got this intuition. It happens subconsciously. Your brain breaks some information and gives you the intuition. We are not consciously aware of the processes or how the brain arrives at those conclusions. But once the intuition is formed, you are aware of that. This is the power of the brain. It keeps picking up all kind of information, processing them subconsciously, and giving you awareness. On a daily basis, you have to make a lot of small and big decisions. You do not have time to rationally think or scientifically analyze them. So you may go with your gut feeling. Your intuition could give you remarkably fast ideas and understanding about your situations, but it also has limitations because it is not a conscious decision or understanding. You cannot say for sure that your intuitions are true. You may feel right even when you are wrong. Number 3. Authority. The method of authority promotes the belief in something because a trusted source such as a parent, a news correspondent, or a teacher says it is true. The emphasis is on the source here, not on the methods the source may have used to gain the information. For example, the claim that consumers will spend money to receive news updates via fax machine because producers of the information say so is based on the method of authority. During the late 1990s, this was shown not to be true. Only a handful of consumers signed up to receive the new product, and the research was conducted to find out what failed. The research indicated that few people had fax machines at home and they were not interested in the material being sent to their workplace. A simple answer that wasn't perceived by the product's producers. Perhaps one of the most common methods of acquiring knowledge is through authority. This method involves accepting new ideas because some authority figure states that they are true. While in an ideal world we should be able to trust authority figures, history has taught us otherwise, and many instances of atrocities against humanity are a consequence of people unquestionably following authority. Example, the Nazi war crimes. Next, let us look into rational or logical reasoning. Rationalism involves using logic and reasoning to acquire new knowledge. Using this method, premises are stated and logical rules are followed to arrive at sound conclusions. For instance, if I am given the premise that all swans are white and the premise that this is a swan, then I can come to the rational conclusion that this swan is white without actually seeing the swan. The problem with this method is that if the premises are wrong or there is an error in logic, then the conclusion will not be valid. For instance, the premise that all swans are white is incorrect. There are black swans in Australia. Also, unless formally trained in the rules of logic, it is easy to make an error. Nevertheless, if the premises are correct and the logical rules are followed appropriately, then this is a sound mean of acquiring knowledge. Let's look into the empirical way of acquiring knowledge. Empiricism involves acquiring knowledge through observation and experience. Once again, any of you may have believed that all swans are white because you have only ever seen white swans. For centuries, people believe the earth is flat because it appears to be flat. These examples and many visual illusions that trick our senses illustrate the problems with relying on empiricism alone to derive knowledge. We are limited in what we can experience and observe, and our senses can deceive us. Moreover, our prior experiences can alter the way we perceive events. Nevertheless, empiricism is at the heart of the scientific method. Science relies on observations, but not just any observations. Science relies on structured observations, which is known as systematic empiricism. These non-scientific ways of knowing have certain problems or limitations. That is why we need to turn to the scientific method of knowing through scientific research. This method is aimed at limiting those problems or limitations that non-scientific methods of knowing have, and to produce reliable knowledge that is closer to truth and acceptable.